Welcome to the Past Lives Cafe. I am your host, Chione, an intuitive energy worker and acclaimed past life regressionist. Come with me as we journey through the spiral of time to forgotten places. Welcome to the Past Lives Cafe podcast. Today, I am thrilled to introduce to you a good friend and someone who I know you will absolutely enjoy learning about, especially her past life experiences as a reader and as someone who has seen her own past lives. Her name is Harmony Lovejoy. She is a gifted psychic medium and intuitive tarot reader who blends insight, empathy, and spiritual guidance to help you find clarity, comfort, and connection. Her readings are as warm as they are empowering, whether you're seeking answers, validation, or a fresh perspective on your journey. Welcome, welcome, Harmony. I am so happy that you are here with me.
Hello, thank you for that introduction. That was lovely.
Just as lovely as you are. When I first met you, it was my sister who ran up to me. She had seen you a couple of times.
Karma Fest.
Yes, Karma Fest. And she ran up to me and said, Chione, you've got to meet Harmony Lovejoy. And I said, is that her real name? Ever since she introduced you to me, I just felt like I was talking with somebody who, and this is interesting, especially when you may have, I don't want to say competing interests, but often those types of festivals and expos bring people together with a lot of similar abilities, we'll put it that way. But we all have our own specific connection to spirit. The thing that immediately I felt with you was that you have this perspective of wanting everyone to operate at the highest frequency and for their highest good. And that included me as well. So I just was instantaneously floored by just your generous and high frequency spirit.
You know, I try, and it's taken a long time to get me here. So my journey has been long and powerful, I hear. And I'm grateful to be able to realize, that we all have our gifts. And if I don't have a message for you, the other person has a message for you. So I'm grateful for this.
Yeah, I love that. We're all here to help lift each other up. And
absolutely.
Yeah, and I felt that from you from the first moment I met you. My sister is not necessarily instantaneously enamored with people. She's very discerning. I don't want to say skeptical because that's not, you know her. Mm-hmm. She's not a gushing type of person. So when she runs up to me and says, oh my gosh, you have to meet somebody, I know I need to meet somebody.
Yeah, she's a tough cookie, I would say. Cookie. I could tell in her energy that she was a little skeptic because you can feel it within the people that you read for, whether they are or they're not. And then you can feel that release when they are like, oh, okay, you're genuine.
Yep. Yeah, I think the thing that spoke to her specifically was not just your accuracy in reading her energetically, but the fact that you came to her with solid, pragmatic ideas on how to help her achieve what she wants to do with her life on a coaching path. That she's brand new and you gave her the chutzpah to go do it. So,
yeah. Thank you. I that's what I love to do. I say that I can help people with their businesses to figure out the next step in regards to their spiritual missions, mostly. And a lot of that we can turn into actual businesses because the new earth needs, when I say that here, the new earth needs lots of high frequency beings.
I agree with you 100%. And so many of us, all we have to do is realize how interconnected we are with each other and the new earth, as well as the ancient earth, right? So all we have to do is connect. And it's my goal with this podcast, and obviously with how you're living your life, to help people see that connection is very possible for them. I love that.
Yes.
I have a couple of questions for you. But the first one is, what is your experience with past lives. How did this whole genre open up to you? And I have a feeling you're going to say something, so you could tell me if I'm right or wrong, but past lives is just part of who we are.
Absolutely. Yes. Where to begin? I'm thinking about how far back to step into my journey here in regards to this.
Well, you look like
Working
you're
with
15 years old, so we have time.
Oh, love. Yeah, I'm 46, so I just look young. Thank you. You know, back in my 20s, I started this journey into spiritualism with tarot, and then I just wanted to know. And when you ask, you receive. And so in my 30s, I had a Kundalini activation, and I started to be able to hear my guides, and they led me to being attuned to the Akashic realm. They led me where I needed to be, and that's a whole other story, where I needed to be in order to be able to tap into this realm. And then one day I was laying there and I said, it's not fair that we come down here and we don't know what our karma is. We don't know how to clear it. We don't know how to heal. And we're just stuck. And they said, my guide said, do you want to help people with this? And I said, absolutely. And then I could read past lives.
Wow. So how do the lives come to you? How do you sense them?
I'd say it's like reading a book. And sometimes I try to jump ahead when I'm in a reading and I'm like, I can't. I have to read one page to get to another. And so sometimes my guides or your guides just come through me and speak as long as I'm out of the way, because I have to be out of the way in order for them to be able to just say what needs to be said. If I'm thinking about what am I going to say, then I'm not listening and they're not coming through. So I have to step out of the way. And it was a lot of years of training in order to be able to remove that part of myself that wants to be in control, in order to allow them to be like, okay, here's the information. This is what you need to say. Or because sometimes I hear it, or they'll just say it to you through me.
So how do you go about stepping out of the way? Because that is, I think, a tough thing for all of us to step out of the way, whether it's our own personal path or questioning we've all heard of imposter syndrome, or questioning our own validity and the different things that we want to pursue, whether we think we're qualified enough or whether we think that we deserve sometimes to get messages or to take a certain path. So how do you get your ego to say, stop trying to control this, step aside?
Well, it's different in different atmospheres. So when I'm at an expo, I immediately tap into the realm and then I'm out of the way completely. But it was, like I said, it was a lot of years of them just coming through me and me feeling what it was like in order to not be in control and to allow them. And it was forceful at first, but it's what I'm here for. And I realized it was for the greater good, and I didn't mind. I did say prior to this, let me be a vessel for you to speak through, and be careful what you wish for, I guess. But I'm grateful. I'm very grateful that I was able to do this. That was how they chose to use me. And it did help that I was broken open, because I think it was after that I had the Kundalini activation that they were able to come through and channel through. So had that not happened, I'm not sure how it works.
You told me a little bit about your Kundalini awakening, and I was wondering if you could share with others who may not be familiar with what that is and how that happened for you.
I was not aware of what it was prior to the activation, but I was led down this path of awakening. I was led to subjects to help remove any indoctrinations or brainwashing of societal norms from my parents' religions, to get back to a neutral point. And I'm not saying that you can't believe in a religion in order to get here, but they're going to wash away some of the indoctrinations that aren't needed. There's a lot of things that aren't needed that hold us back from being able to be neutral. And when I say this, I mean to a point where we're not thinking we're allowing, if that makes sense. Because it doesn't make sense to this vessel. And I'm channeling right now. So the stuff that's coming through is directly from source. So they decided to be here. So in regards to my Kundalini, I was led down a path of resources. I looked into the Nagamani library, scriptures, esoteric knowledge. And so my consciousness expanded. And because of this, I was able to see the world differently and what we were here for. And that's when it kind of came through. That's when I realized that we create our own reality. And once I was able to see this, it broke open.
Beautiful. A lot of people say that Kundalini awakenings are painful.
It was very. As soon as I could see that we manifest our own reality, it correlated with the 2012 awakening energy as well. Because that's
Really?
fun. It was December 2012.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it was amazing. And it was very painful. I remember one night after I started seeing how rapidly I was manifesting for myself and the world, because this isn't just us, it's a collective effort. I was laying in bed and I felt this pain shoot up the back of my neck here and into my brain where the pineal gland would be. And it was very painful. And I'd never felt that pain before or since. And it was just once. And it lasted for about an hour or so. And then it dulled down and subsided. And since then, I've been able to hear my guides more easier, I would say.
Did you realize that you had been talked to or conversed with all your life, and that maybe you just hadn't been in the mind space of hearing it before?
Yeah, I can look back now and see where I was being spoken to, but it was very infrequent. It was, don't go there, don't go that way. It was very quick. I do know that as a child, I was psychic. I knew when the phone was going to ring. I knew I would have premonitions. I would know what was going to happen the next day. I would dream about it. And my family has those capabilities as well, but it was nothing like this.
Beautiful. And so you've never had that pain in the head, in the back of the skull, none of that ever since. And everything just cracked wide open.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, I could hear my angels, my guides. They would tell me their names. I could read stuff for other people. And as you can imagine, it took many years for me to come to grips with this, to like be able to handle it in order to be able to be here.
It was overwhelming? Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah.
That's interesting. It's interesting that you say, be careful what we wish for.
I mean, I'm glad now, but it could have gone. It was touch and go there for a minute, for a little bit.
So have you seen your own past lives?
I have. Yeah. I've asked to see who I was and where I've been and why it affects me in this lifetime and how and what I'm working through.
Care to share generally?
When I do past life reading, they start to activate within your being, and then you start to see stuff and feel things, and it happens to you. I have had instances where I have been places and I feel like I'm actually in that lifetime because something is happening in my life that correlates with that past lifetime. And that's what I do for people. And that's why it's not fun for me. This is serious. It's work. So I also tell people, like my last reading I had down at the college, I told her, are you sure? Her guy said, are you sure you want to know this? Because it's going to change your life. And so when you come to me, it's a continual effort to make sure that we are then working on processing this and healing it. Because I want everybody to be able to heal and not have to come back here if they don't want to, honestly.
So that brings us to the issue of karma. Mm-hmm. And so what have you come to believe karma really is and how it works in our lives?
Well, I don't exactly know where it started. All I know is that we come here to process it and become better souls while we're here. I liken it to a video game. where there's a save point when you die and you come back and you're in the same energy, basically, and you collect more. You can collect more coins or whatever along the way, but you also have everything that you had before you left. So then you have to correct the frequency and decide, okay, I don't want to be this way. I don't want to be selfish, or I don't want to be however it is. And that's usually what it comes down to. The negative vibration, the lower vibrational things that we did. We need to learn to not behave in the same way or follow through the way we would want. And that's the quiz.
That is the quiz. Mostly because, and this is my own personal issue with karma, but not because I don't believe in it per se. I'm 50-50 on karma the way it's presented. We'll put it that way. If our jobs as souls is to become the best we can be, then why don't we retain the memories of things that we have learned? I love the video game analogy.
Yeah.
But the one thing that we're doing in the video game, and maybe we are doing this on a soul level, but the one thing that we do in a video game is we say, oh, crap, I shouldn't have gone left. I should have gone right. Or I should have watched for this sign and I didn't. So we're learning how to navigate that particular game along the way.
Exactly.
Without for many people, without conscious knowledge of what we have lived in the past, it sometimes feels like Groundhog Day.
It does. It does. It does. Absolutely. And they just said to me, Spirit just said, simulated reality. So that's the phrase they used, simulated reality. So we come down here and we don't remember. And why don't we remember? I think that goes back to the beginning and what this planet was for prior to our existence. And I don't know all the details about that. I haven't really asked, and that hasn't really come up. If I were to sit and talk to them, that's what they're saying now. It wasn't made for us, this planet. We weren't here at the beginning, and now we're here. So it wasn't made for us to remember who we were, and it's just a product of that environment that we're in. Because there's other planets, there's other solar systems and galaxies where they do remember.
So, in fact, we choose to come here to forget and do a simulated reality.
I'm hearing that, and I don't want to get too kind of doom and gloom or anything, but we weren't meant to be here. Like, we never chose to be here in the first place. We were put here. Humans were put here. And so it's not a choice whether we want to come back or not. It's the reality of the fact that we were, and that's the situation we're in.
Interesting.
And that's why clearing your karma is part of getting off the cycle.
So that's our escape hatch.
Yeah.
But we have to find a way to learn what tools we need and behaviors we need to adopt and mindset we need to be in, frequency or vibration, like you said, in order for us to work through these puzzles. I feel like I'm in the escape room.
Yeah, that's what I actually just
find the key. Find the key.
This escape room sucks.
Yeah, I think this escape room is beyond my pay grade.
Right. Okay. So, from what I know, and I hear, and I'm told, we come here. We're here from another planet. Other beings placed us here. We're here, and we have to make the best of it. This is an animal kingdom, and it's dog eat dog, eat whomever kind of energy out there. And that's what we've developed. And we have to fight those instincts to become a higher consciously aware divine beings.
What a cool perspective. I love that. It takes, for me, the pressure off of me saying, what a dumbass I was thinking this was going to be a good choice. I wouldn't have chosen the pain that many people have experienced in this lifetime or past lifetimes. There's people that have been persecuted and tortured. And I mean, we know all the things, and it's happening today.
I was one of them. I do know that. I had a lot of persecution, and it's repeated itself in this lifetime.
Do you
And
believe
they
that your
always will.
abilities, were they always around your abilities, do you believe?
Not necessarily.
So for different reasons.
Some of them were, but most of them were everyday kind of things. I wasn't a witch. I know that. I've heard.
You've
But
heard you weren't. So you weren't some medicinal, herbal, hands-on kind of healer person being persecuted and then recalled all of these terrible things. Okay.
no, not in my culture where I was.
Gotcha.
I was honored more than persecuted, but I've been persecuted for other things.
Gotcha. Very interesting. So it almost sounds like some people have what they call déjà vu experiences where they feel like, oh no, I know I've been here. I know that I have experienced this place, this time, or maybe this place at a different time. But there is a familiarity that happens at times. Do you think that's a past life type of interdimensional crossing of frequencies?
Absolutely. We go to places I have found with my clients, many thousands now clients and readings where they end up going places that I say in a past life you were here. And they're like, I've been there.
Gotcha.
Why? Oh, because you're trying to either collect pieces or close up energy or fix whatever needs to be fixed. And I help you to see what that is in order to not have to experience it in the next one, if there is a next one. Work with me long enough and there won't be.
I love that.
I already know I'm not coming back.
My sister and I have a list of all the places we need to see in this lifetime.
Yeah.
And her list is different than mine. We have a couple of crossovers, but for the most part, completely different. And mine is Greece, mine is Egypt, and Mexican pyramids. And there's a couple of other European places and also certain places in Africa. My sister is all in the Asia, like she's totally drawn to the Asian side of things. I also feel this calling to India. So I always wondered how two people could have these two very different lists of places. We're twins. We shared a whole bunch of DNA and such. And we have these two very different places. When I say she and I are called to these places, I'm saying the first place I ever said I was going internationally was Greece. And there wasn't a doubt in my mind.
Right.
That was where I needed to be. And she said, well, it's warm. I'll come.
Funny.
But that didn't call to her, right? So you're saying those types of feelings could be an indication.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I'll tell you
That's
a story for you, what I was hearing in regards to you and your sister, that this is your first lifetime together. And that's good because sometimes when it's not, it can be tumultuous. I think that's the word. Very rough and hard. Not always, but a lot of times the worst connection you have in your family, there's past lives there. A lot of times. For you, these are places you've been. For her, some of them, not all of them. Some of them you're just drawn to because you need the experience. And same with her. I can say that one of you came in for your father and one of you came in for your mother. So your soul's in a vessel. So you're not restricted to both parents. And if there's karma there with one parent, you'll come for that one parent and vice versa. And I find that a lot, that it's mostly one coming for one and sometimes there's neutralizers. Sometimes a child comes for everybody to be just this beacon of light. And that's always nice to see.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah. So the story is, I have a friend who was going on a European trip. So I have experience with this. And before she went with her fiance, we talked about all the places that she wanted to visit and he wanted to visit. And I told her the different areas and things that were going to happen and what she should visit and what he should visit and what they should be to help clear. And she said that everything I said was going to happen, happened. And it all lined up. And the experience they had were, I don't know the right word to use right now, but amazing. So she was very grateful to have that.
That is super cool. I will say that travel does something to us. It opens something up that we wouldn't necessarily feel if we stay in our own little bubble for a long time.
So the one time I was drawn to go, because the only way I travel is Google Earth. And I was drawn to go to Italy. They had me get on the streets. If you ever seen Italy streets, I think it was Florence, they're very tight. And I had no clue where I was going. And my guides were just like, turn left, turn right, turn left, turn right. And I ended up in front of this corridor. And then there was nothing. And I was like, okay. And this lifetime, I happened to be someone who isn't famous, yet still has some public information about them. Looked it up, and apparently they stopped me right in front of a nunnery where the lady, if it's my past life, had placed her daughter, and she died there. Her daughter died there. And I was like, okay, I believe you.
That's cool.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I said, I don't know where I'm going. And they said, yes, but we do.
You know, that's brings me to a story that I have where a woman who I had regressed, and I had mentioned to you, Harmony, when I met you, that I see reels of where people have been and things that they do. And I had seen this woman while she was regressing in a completely different life. I had seen her out west, and it was so strange. I got the vision of a very strong mountain goat. And I think they're fascinating because they get on these, what look like 2-inch cliffs, you know, little ledges, and they walk all around the mountainous areas, and they're tough and they're sturdy and they never lose their balance. And I think they're fascinating. I love all animals, but so I'm telling her about this, and I usually follow up with my regression clients, just kind of impressions that I've gotten and things like that. So I'm telling her what I had seen and how I saw her witnessing this mountain goat. And then she gets over this mountain range and she's out west, like California, Southwest area, and how she just thrived there. It was warm. She loved the area. So I send this information to her afterwards, and she calls me and she says, Chione, I have to tell you something. She said, 2 years ago, I went to California, and it was more Southern California. And she said, my partner and I were driving around, and I knew exactly where to go. I knew exactly what turn to take. My partner says, have you been here before?
Right.
And she said, nope, but I know it like I know it. And then she said, I am fascinated by goats.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, and I am a Capricorn. I don't know if you're into astrology and those symbology.
I'm an Aries. There, but I'm an Aries, so I'm a Ram. So I guess that.
Well, I think Rams are amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, horned strength and that ability to just plow through things that are just dense and require strength. I mean, I can't think of any other. I'm just fascinated by them. Yeah. Your story reminded me of that, of saying, okay, you were able to see what she was going to experience. Mm-hmm. And in this other life that I'm referencing, she knew exactly where to go to have an experience. Yeah, it was like reliving it all over again.
It's like this internal compass that you have, internal feeling. Like, I need to go there. I need to be there. And when you're there, I feel something within me here. I need to be here. So that's how spirit and your guides help you to do this, even though you don't know that they are. You know, they're always working with you to help you.
That must be a frustrating job.
I want to say sometimes, but they don't have feelings like we do. So they don't get upset with you.
That makes sense. Plus the time construct too, right? They don't feel like I have been telling you this for 57 years.
There's none of that. None of that. Sometimes they give up when you can't do it anymore. Older, late in life, especially. But it's not like forget about it. It's okay, well, they're not physically capable and they're not going to be able to, you know, that kind of thing. I've had that happen for clients as well. Usually
the connection is more cerebral as opposed to...
It's usually with older parents where they're just set in their ways or they're not going to change. And they're not usually my clients, so I can't help them. But when somebody needs to work with someone, it's till death, and then they're free. And I can tell they're not going to work with you, or they are, unless they come to me and we can help clear this block that they have or the trauma, because that's one of the things that I can do. So I can help energetically clear karma, like clear blocks that you might have towards certain things. And a lot of stuff's not ours. And we pick it up along the way and it needs to be removed.
Generational trauma, familial lineage. Yeah, I feel you on that. How many ways are we, and I think about this from a past life standpoint, right? I held this class the other day on generational and ancestral trauma. And I was talking about epigenetics and how we hold this information, so much information that we've gathered, like the video games, your lives along the way. And we keep passing these traumas as well as wonderful things, but we keep passing these things along. And I asked everyone who was sitting in the class with me, that was at Cecil College. I said, name 2 things right off the bat that every single person in this room has lived through. And they both said the same things I came up with, 9/11 and COVID, were the things that every single person in that room, and that hit everybody globally, right? You didn't have to be in the States to see that happen. And how many people were lost, God forbid, in that World Trade Center and the Pentagon and the fields of Pennsylvania. So many people had tentacles all throughout the world in those losses. I think about how that changed our DNA. Those experiences changed those DNA. And you're able to help people clear that. That must be an amazing feeling for them and you afterwards, to just feel like, I had no idea how much I was carrying with me.
Right. I do energetic, shamanic energy clearings, and I have people get up and say, I just feel so much lighter. That's one of the blessings that I love to give to others. I'd do it for free if I could. If I didn't have to pay my bills, I'd still be doing this. If I was wealthy, I'd be doing it for free for everyone. And sometimes I do, because if I'm called to, because it's tithing, and I appreciate my gift. So if my guides say, hey, this person really needs you, money's no option at that point, because it's all about who they are as a soul. I met a homeless man in Philadelphia and he needed it. And my guide said, you don't know who he is. You have no clue who he is. We do. So thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. It is very difficult for us to love each other's souls when so much noise is in the way. Religious noise, as you mentioned, political noise, economic noise, the things that skew our perspectives on each other and the actual inner beings that we are. It's hard to know often who we're actually working with.
Yeah. And that's one of the things in this community as well. What I hear is, okay, who is this person on a soul level? Are they good people? And what I've found is even the most darkest of people don't mean to be that way. And they have a lot of trouble and attachments and things of that nature that can be removed. They don't have to stay that way. We just don't have our shamans anymore.
Yep. You're right about that.
I'm here to help keep everyone pure.
Right. We look at things from a very specific Western, if we can't throw a pill at it and we can't, and I'm not downing medication at all. I'm not. What I'm saying is, if we can't throw a pill at it and we can't talk through it in a therapeutic setting, then we don't ever look for the spiritual answer. We just look at mind and body as if they're in silos and not the entire being of us.
Well, part of my process to get here was once I had my Kundalini activation, and I said it was touch and go for a little bit, because they say your shamans are in your mental institutions, and it is what it is, and I was there too. I couldn't handle everything I was hearing. and feeling and seeing all of a sudden. And they wanted to throw pills at me. And now my daughter's on medication, so I don't down medication. I will give it if needed, if I think it's going to help. Absolutely. But it wasn't helping me.
Right.
I tried it. It didn't work.
Right.
I had to fight through this to get a grip on my own mind. And in order to be able to handle the information that I was seeing and receiving all of a sudden, in order to be able to help everyone that I knew.
You're probably the third or fourth person I have talked to since starting this podcast who has had mental health. I don't want to use the word interference.
Yeah.
But has either questioned their own sanity or others have questioned the individual's sanity when they were actually having just an amazing connection with spirit and needed to learn how to open the door carefully so that they weren't being inundated.
And mine was torn open. Like, welcome. So you can imagine how hard it is for these individuals that have no clue
Right.
of what they're really seeing and feeling and hearing is true.
Right. From a Kundalini activation standpoint, did someone work with you to energetically activate you, or is that something that you did with spirit?
Spirit, one day, it was a buildup, months of doing the work and reading the books that I didn't know what it was leading up to. So basically, Spirit's like, here you go. Welcome. And suddenly, I'm in this place, and it came rapidly. So it can happen to any of us every day, all day. Just how much are we consuming and how much are we following and how much are, even on social media, I would get messages and given information through my timeline on Facebook. And I'm like, wait. And the more you see it, it's like, okay, you're talking to me. I see you.
That's cool. The message doesn't have to be some esoteric delivery of some whisper that comes on the wind. It can be as simple as seeing something right in front of us, knowing that we were at the right place at the right time.
Absolutely.
So how do your clients respond when they hear their past life readings? It's probably all over the place, but in general.
A lot of times they'll say, that's why I do that. Or that's why I'm drawn to this. Or I get it now. I understand. And then we work through it to see, okay, well, why? Why is Spirit trying to get you to heal this or figure this out or understand? What do we need to do?
So they're able to see it as not just the reasons behind things, but how to resolve those things, especially if they're problematic.
That's what I try to help them to do.
It's wonderful.
Because a lot of times it's repeating patterns in our lives that we no longer need or we're tired of. And why am I doing this? Why is this happening to me? I don't understand. So I give you answers to those things.
Have you found that people are also impacted physically by certain things?
Oh, yeah.
That can be traced either ancestral or past life or both. The term trauma comes up, but it doesn't have to be trauma, just experience.
Absolutely. It can keep us in certain places and certain jobs. It can make us feel not right sometimes in order for us to sit down and be like, okay, what do I need to do? I was depressed. When I went through my Kundalini activation, I couldn't even get out of bed. I wasn't eating. I was just absorbing knowledge. And that's how they got me to sit down and basically shut up and listen.
But yeah, you didn't have to be so extreme, Spirit.
Again.
But now you understand it, which is cool. But I can imagine how freaky that must have been for you.
Oh, yeah, it was. It was. I just thought I was learning. I was in college just recently prior, and I love absorbing information, and I love watching history stuff and esoteric energies, information. I just thought I was learning. I didn't know that it was the process of my activation to become psychic. But the funny thing is I was reading Sylvia Browne's book, Passing the Psychic Torch. at the time, like just prior. And so we're getting messages, and I didn't get it till now.
Could this be the torch heading my way?
I didn't know I was reading that.
I have to. I will make a note of that book in the show notes. So why is past life knowledge so incredibly healing? We know that it can help bring awareness to why we do certain things. But how about on that soul level? Is making that connection really the healing vector that helps us not just recognize, but say, okay, I can course correct going forward?
So from what I'm hearing now, they're saying it's to get off that wheel, that hamster wheel of reincarnation, of coming back down here. On a soul level, we want to. We want to know. We want to learn. We want our shamans. We want to seek out anyone who's going to help us to not have to do this or repeat this, because we've been doing it many lifetimes. Some people have been doing it 5, 6, 7 lifetimes, the same thing. I know I was. And they don't want to do it anymore. They're like, I'm tired of coming down here and having to experience the same thing. Can I have somebody in my experience that can tell me what to do this time, please? Pretty please.
Yeah.
I'm obviously not figuring it out.
Right. The old, this is getting old. Yeah.
Old, right. I'm done.
So what do we do with starseeds who say, I don't belong here, meaning this earth, this planet, this lifetime, these energies? I know I don't belong here. And so how did I get here? I have had a number of regressions where people have seen themselves in past lives, on other planets, in other systems, just completely different cosmic energies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I'm wondering what you do with that. How do you see that? And what kind of counsel do you give somebody who says, I don't want to be here. I don't belong here?
Well, I will say I help them to ground themselves and say, we can figure this out. We'll work through it and get you through this so that we can move you on so that you don't have to come back here, or at least don't have to repeat this same pattern again. And I can tell people, okay, you came in with this person, this person, this person. Maybe not everybody. I might not catch everybody, but usually do. And this is what you're working with them. This is how to move through this. And once you're done here, you don't have to come back. In regards to starseeds, I have seen a few people, but I don't really work with them on their lifetimes on other planets. I would if they needed me to, and I have, but it's not as frequent. This is coming from somebody who I've seen other planets. I've gone into trance states, and I have seen the healing chambers they have and how they can take our consciousness and our energy to them, kind of like ships or planets, and heal us. I've gotten visions and I've seen the places where they send the souls down and how they do it. And I've got confirmation of those things because other people have seen it, which is nice that I'm not the only one, and how the process works. They don't really have me working with, not that they're not starseeds, but those lifetimes from other planets.
Most of your folks are saying, I know I've been here before. I know I've been living in Japan in my past life, or I have a thing for Japanese weaponry.
I had the samurai.
Yeah, the samurai, right?
And,
they just feel so called to that.
I have. And I hear them saying, I'm just trying to get people off of this planet so they don't have to come back here and maybe can experience those other ones, because sometimes we don't experience the other ones because our mission's here. And once our mission is complete here, we don't have to work on ourselves or the energy, because everything we do to uplift the consciousness of ourselves and the energy of ourselves uplifts the planet.
Yeah.
Collectively. And we can't move you on to another place until we work on here, because this is your mission here.
So do you believe it's everyone's mission that is here today, populating our earth, in addition to working through maybe personal karmic actions with others, that it is our collective mission to raise the frequency here, the consciousness, the awareness?
Working on their soul mission, their soul karma, individual, but yes, to uplift the vibration of the planet, to uplift ourselves, and then uplift the planet, the consciousness. And as we raise in consciousness, more people will activate themselves. I think it's that 100 monkey theory.
Yeah.
Where once enough of us have raised our consciousness and our vibration and hold that frequency, because it's a holding as well. It's not okay, one day I feel good, because we still have work to do. So you can't necessarily stay in this. And those who do have cleared a lot. Because I know when I go to these expos and give readings, I'm like up here. My vibe is so high. But when I go home, I still have work to do.
Yep.
But once I work through it, I've noticed that I go in and out of frequencies at home as well and with other people. So I'm healing myself in all scopes.
Yep. Yeah, I think that the comment that you made about healing ourselves is also healing the planet. You had said that earlier on. So our own personal karmic mission is, in essence, raising our consciousness, our awareness, which also impacts everyone.
Healing our imprint on the earth from prior lifetimes as well. It's clearing that energy as well. And that's why we pick it back up and we work on it so that we can say, okay, I want to neutralize this energy. I want to clear this energy of what I was once and not be that anymore. I'm not 100% how it works. I know it does. So take somebody, for instance, that might have been an executioner. I've had executioners prior. They may have to then decide that they are going to help people stay alive. So they might be an activist or birth people, but they'll help people in some way and to help heal, or a surgeon.
So instead of ending someone's physical life, helping bring them wellness.
And the people that you have executed will come back to you. The souls will come back to you. They're programmed to, so that you can help them heal. And so that's your job. Like, it's tougher when it's a person who you took out, to say, in prior lifetimes, because then the energy is so multiple, like, that's the right word, intense between the two of you. You're like, who's this person? And why are they in my frequency? What's going on here? And it's somebody that you have to help make the choice. And that's when the test comes in. Are you going to help this person heal? Are you going to kill them again? Choice is yours. How far have you leveled in the lifetimes in between to become the human that you need to be?
Right.
Because we are humans here. Yes, we're souls, but this is a human existence and frequency. So we have to level up here. So nobody does it anymore. If you can level up from a place of, yeah, I'll take people out, to a place of, I only want to heal, you're taking that frequency away from the earth so that it's not here. So collectively, more people want to heal.
Yeah. So it has the ripple effect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you think by the comment, we can heal the past?
So what I'm getting in is, if we put ourselves in the position of who we were and are remorseful, we can heal what we've done, because time is linear, they say, right? It's happening now. So if we put our position, and knowing your past lifetimes can help you do this, if we put ourselves in a position and then say, yeah, that wasn't right, I'm sorry, we can clear the energy of who we were then, because we might have died and I was right. I don't care. But then we're in that position. So in that lifetime, now the person that you were in that lifetime is remorseful.
So you can break the cycle.
It heals.
What do you think about, or Spirit tells you, about that moment when we meet someone that we swear we have known all of our lives? We just gel. It's like, dude, you are so familiar to me. And it's the first time I'm meeting you.
It's usually past lifetime, or they have an energy signature that you need to help you heal in this one. You might never have met them before. This could be the first incarnation, but they have a frequency that you need, or they're going to do something that is going to trigger you in order for you to heal. That happens a lot. That's really why we end up together with people that we do.
What do you think of this statement? There are people in our lives for a reason, a season, and a lifetime.
Well, sometimes if somebody helps us to heal, we don't need them. I call them obsolete. If you're meant to be with somebody in order to just break a pattern that you have or heal from childhood trauma or generational things or past life things. Once they help you heal, sometimes contracts up and you just move on somewhere else. I haven't met a lot of lifetimes, just to be honest, that are relationships, meaning man and wife or whomever partners. Usually it's children with their parents that are meant to be together for a lifetime, which makes sense. Usually it's unfinished business or work, a lot of times past lifetime stuff that they didn't finish together and they need to heal together. It can be generational stuff, but usually when it comes to stuff that's passed down from generation to generation to generation, it doesn't have to be forever. But if it's a past lifetime where you were working on, say, finishing something, you might have to finish it together in this lifetime because you might have wanted to, or it left somebody unfinished in a past lifetime and you want to complete this so their soul feels complete. That's happened. Mostly with partners, unless you have a higher mission, like you come in together to sit in a high vibration together and make magic together. Usually it's to heal and to move on. Or if you want to stay, stay sometimes as well. But sometimes there's other people you need to work with. A lot of times we'll get together with people and we're just meant to heal with them. But if it's, say, a father wound or a mother wound, usually we want to spirit makes you intimate in order to trigger you, because you're not going to get triggered if a friend does something, but you'll get triggered if a partner does it, you know? And that helps you to heal this aspect of yourself because it comes forward within you and you're like, hey, wait, I don't like this aspect of myself, who I am in this partnership. Let me heal this. So it's all about the inner work at that point.
That makes sense. The trigger is the thing that gives us the opportunity to say, wait, why am I being triggered? How do I recognize that this is something I need to work through myself on so that I no longer am triggered by this specific thing?
Yeah, like for me, the last guy I was seeing, he was like my father in a lot of ways. And the things he did mirrored what my father did that hurt me. And I had to work on that wound. It was stuff that I hadn't seen with other partners. Like my prior partner, he didn't do that, or I didn't see it within him, and we weren't together anymore. So I needed somebody else to come in and say, hey, and it's not a punishment. It's just, you were traumatized, you're hurting, and we don't know how to tell you that this is what you're hurting from because you can't hear us. So you need somebody to re-trigger you in order for you to realize that this is what you need therapy for, or things of that nature.
Gotcha. Makes sense. So in fact, we should be thankful.
Yeah.
When we're
Absolutely.
triggered.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a gift. It really is. It helps us to heal everything that's within our being that is not for the greater good. That doesn't need to be passed on to your kids or your grandkids or to the next lifetime with you.
Right.
So let's clear now. So next time, if we do have to come back here, we're pure.
We're not carrying so much baggage.
It's hard to work with all.
Right. Yeah. The evolution of the soul is to become lighter.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen that in my own reality in the last, since 2012, 2013, where I don't do the same things I used to do. I'm not triggered in the same ways I used to be triggered. Something that used to trigger me doesn't trigger me. Not to say that I don't have any triggers, but because I do, but it's not as much as it used to be. I'm more patient, I'm more kind, I'm more loving than I was when I started this journey. And there's still more.
Right.
So we don't have to handle things the way with anger and frustration, unless certain aspects we do to set boundaries, but that might be the learning lesson too.
I'm so glad that you said that. Why do you think setting boundaries is a lesson we need to learn?
Because sometimes we weren't given the chance to have boundaries as children or in past lifetimes, and we just had to do whatever people wanted us to do.
We were powerless, we felt.
So setting boundaries is a really important thing to do. And sometimes that comes out aggressively or angrily, but it really has to. And we don't condemn you for that in any way, because once you do it, it's done. And then your boundaries stay, hopefully. Anyway. And if not, it happens again. You do it again until you realize it's a pattern that you're in and you no longer let them in.
I'm happy to hear you say that's a lesson. In my own personal experience, working with a child that pushes the boundaries and also has probably created the most pain I've ever experienced in my life, I've questioned what could be the lesson there. And the only thing I could come up with was to not live his life for him. He needs to have that experience so he learns. And then the second thing is to hold my boundaries so that I can continue to live. Otherwise, I'm on his roller coaster, right?
And
I couldn't see that as a good answer.
Yeah.
That's not that amazingly wondrous. What would be the epiphany there? So if you're saying that having boundaries in and of themselves and being able to hold that and continue to love yourself through it is enough, I'll take it.
It's not letting the darkness in. It's like, I see you. You're not, I don't want to say of the caliber that I need you to be in order to be with me. So goodbye and thank you for the lesson. And in regards to this one, I heard them say, where have you had these boundaries crossed before? Because this isn't the first time for you. This is a lesson in regards to who you let in as well. So look there. Maybe we can go deeper later in regards to this, because I'm hearing that in regards to this person, they're showing you something, this isn't the first time.
Gotcha. So oftentimes these triggers, when they're really, really painful, can be bringing our awareness to a lesson that needed to be learned for a long time.
Usually, yeah. It always goes back to childhood or past lives. Almost always. It's not no. And when you think about it in different perspectives, you're able to say, oh, okay. And usually it's an epiphany like, oh, I didn't think about that way. But it's obvious now that I see it. How could I miss it? Like with my father. Like, how could I miss that these men were acting like him?
Right.
Which is too close.
So what would you recommend for someone who wants to go on their own past life exploration journey on their own? There are YouTube meditations out there.
Mm-hmm.
There are, meditative states people can get into.
Yeah, that's what I was going to recommend. Mostly, I'm hearing stillness and let whatever come in. Ask. That's a big one. Sometimes you're blocked because you have a boundary to letting forces in for good. And that's usually stems from, in my experience anyway, religious beliefs of not letting anything in. It can block you from hearing.
Right.
Because they think it's demonic or dark to hear voices.
Gotcha.
So you need to clear that in order for them to come in, because it's free will. And I hear so spirit won't interfere where they're not wanted.
And so for someone who says, I've been trying to see my past life, or I'm trying to get in touch with lessons that I have to learn, to come to stillness with the idea that I'm setting my boundary that only good can come in.
Yep.
And then I learn what it is I further need to learn as kind of the premise for asking for this information.
Yeah, and you might not hear anything. You might see things in your reality. Like there's a shift. Like when I do one, people see the things. They'll see that. I did one for a friend, and he started seeing people dressed in that period clothing, doing things that were very similar to what I said he experienced in that lifetime. And he's like, what is going on? And that's when I knew, and this was years ago, that's when I knew that this was serious. And when I experienced it myself as well prior to that, I felt like I was actually there, that I don't take this lightly. But going back to your question in regards to what to do, they said, even if you think that you're open, you might need to see a shaman. You might have a block that you're not consciously aware of if you're not experiencing anything. And we need to break that loose and open you up. Not that they won't try to come through, even if you ask your angels, your guides to come through. If you're not seeing anything or feeling anything and hearing anything, because you don't need me for them to come to you. I'm just a vessel to help you if you can't and aren't able to see or understand. And hopefully I can get you on the path where you can. That's my goal objectives, is to help people help themselves ultimately with this journey. But see somebody who can help you to break loose whatever it is. They're saying again, a shaman that can help you.
I personally love that answer.
Oh,
If people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way possible?
email's great. I do texting as well. All my information is on my social media pages. I use Linktree and it links my social media, Facebook or email or text me. I don't mind getting texts.
Perfect. I will put your email address and the social media profiles that I have for you, as well as how to text you.
Okay.
Yes, in the show notes, so that anybody who wants to reach out to you and feel for themselves your incredible energy
Yay.
and your healing
Yes.
just presence is amazing.
Thank you.
Can do so.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. I enjoy what I do. It's my gift.
Yes,
I love
it
it.
is. I am glad that you broke yourself open. And I'm glad that you excited my sister so she came running up to come get me.
I love her. She was. I enjoyed that session with her.
I can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
I appreciate the amount of time you have spent with me, and I personally look forward to working with you.
As you, I really enjoyed spending that time with you down there at the Cosmic Conference, where we really were talking about getting into information that I don't usually talk to other people about.
Yeah.
How we do what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good conversation.
Yeah, it was
I
lovely.
think I need to have a session with you.
I think so too.
This is my shameless plug for Harmony Lovejoy. I too will have a session.
It'll be great. I can't wait.
Thank you so much, my
Thank
friend.
you.
I will be in touch very soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.
You as well.
Thank you so much for listening. If you are interested in my services, visit me at www.quantumjourneygo.com or drop me a note at pastlivescafe.buzzsprout.com. Stay well and be present.